The Galactic Assembly was very old. It had existed for 12,000 years. 7 ancient species ruled over hundreds of star systems. They had learned to travel faster than light when humans were still living in caves on Earth. They thought they knew everything about the universe. They thought they had seen every kind of species that could exist. They were wrong. Deep inside the great library of the people, there was a warning. There were beings made of living crystal. They could sometimes see the future. 10,000 years ago, their greatest oracle had looked toward a small yellow star and seen something that made her afraid. She had written a single law and made every species in the assembly promise to follow it. The law was simple. When the creatures on the third planet of that star learn to fly between worlds, do not hurt them. Watch them, be careful with them, but never ever strike first. For 10,000 years this law was obeyed. Most species forgot why it existed. Some thought it was just an old story, but they always remembered. Ambassador was 52 years old. He had gray hair at his temples and kind eyes that had seen both war and peace on Earth. He had been chosen to represent all of humanity at their first official meeting with the Galactic Assembly. It was the most important job any human had ever been given. His aide was a young woman named. She was only 26, but she was brilliant. She could speak 4 human languages and had already learned 2 alien ones. She stood beside as their small ship approached station, the great meeting place of the assembly. The station was enormous. It was bigger than most cities on Earth. Thousands of ships from dozens of species came and went every day, looked at it through the window of his ship and felt very small. Humanity had only been traveling between stars for 200 years. These beings had been doing it for thousands. But did not feel afraid. He felt hopeful. Humans had come so far. They had almost destroyed themselves many times. Wars, pollution, hatred. But they had survived. They had learned. And now they were here, ready to join the great community of intelligent life in the galaxy. Elder Prime watched the human ship dock at the station. He was one of the oldest species in the assembly. They looked like tall insects with hard shells and many eyes. They had once been great conquerors. They had taken 100 worlds by force, but that was long ago. Now they were old and wise and tired. Prime had read the ancient warning about humans. He believed it. There was something about these small, soft creatures that made him nervous. They had gone from riding horses to flying spaceships in just a few hundred years. That was incredibly fast. Most species took thousands of years to make such progress. What kind of beings could advance so quickly? His nephew stood beside him, was young for he commanded the Dominion's border fleet. He was proud and strong and had never lost a battle. Looked at the human ship with disgust. It was so small, so primitive. The weapons on his own flagship could destroy it in seconds. They are weak, said. Look at them. They have no armor, no natural weapons. How did such creatures even survive on their own planet? The warning says we should not underestimate them, Prime replied. Made a sound of contempt. The warning is old superstition. The sea shadows everywhere. These humans have a small colony on Arcturus 7, 3,000 farmers, no defenses. I could take it in an afternoon. Prime turned all his eyes toward his nephew. You will do no such thing. The law is clear. The law is weakness, replied, but he said nothing more. That evening, there was a great feast to welcome the humans. Ambassador sat at a long table with leaders from all 7 elder species. He shared wine from Earth. He told stories about human history. He made them laugh with tales of human foolishness and made them think with tales of human courage. Watched her ambassador with pride. He was doing so well. The elder species seemed to like him. Maybe this would work. Maybe humans could find a place among these ancient beings. Elder Ka, the leader of the crystalline, approached near the end of the feast. Her body shimmered with inner light. Your species interests me, she said. You are so young, yet you have already done things that took us thousands of years to achieve. smiled politely. We are fast learners. Yes, Ka said, that is what concerns me. She paused. Do you know about the warning, the law my ancestors made about your people? Nodded. I have heard of it, though no one will tell me exactly what it says. It says to be careful with you. It says not to hurt you. Ka leaned closer, her crystal face catching the light. My ancestors saw something in your future, something that frightened her so much that she made a law that has lasted 10,000 years. I hope we never discover what she saw. Did not know what to say, so he simply raised his glass. To peace between our peoples. Ka touched her crystal hand to his glass. To peace. But far away, in the dark space between stars, was giving orders to his fleet. He did not care about ancient laws. He did not care about warnings from long-dead prophets. He would show the galaxy that they were still strong. He would make the humans understand their place. The fleet jumped toward Arcturus 7, toward a small farming colony called Nu, toward a mistake that would change the galaxy forever. Nu was a beautiful world. The sky was soft purple during the day and turned deep orange at sunset. The colonists had planted wheat that grew tall and golden in the alien soil. Children played in the fields. Old people sat on porches and watched the clouds roll by. It was a peaceful place, a good place to build a life. Colony administrator was 60 years old. He had come to Nu 10 years ago with his wife. She had died 2 winters past, but he stayed because this was home now. 3,000 people lived here. He knew most of them by name. He knew their children. He knew their dreams. That morning was drinking tea in his office when his assistant ran in. The young man's face was white with fear. Sir, there are ships, many ships. They are not human. Walked to the window. The purple sky was filling with dark shapes, dozens of them. No, hundreds. They were warships. He recognized them from the reports about the Galactic Assembly. His hands began to shake. Nu had no weapons, no military. They were farmers. Why would anyone attack farmers? He ran to the communication room and sent a message to Earth. His voice was steady even though his heart was breaking. This is Colony Administrator of Nu. We are under attack by forces. We have 3,000 civilians, no weapons, no way to fight. Please send help. He paused. His daughter lived on Earth. She was pregnant with her first child. He would never meet his grandchild. Tell my daughter that I love her. Tell her to be strong. The first bombs fell before he finished speaking. The attack lasted 4 hours. Watch from his flagship as his ships burned everything. The golden wheat fields turned to ash. The small houses became craters. The people who tried to run were cut down by weapons fire. 3,000 lives ended that day. Farmers, teachers, children, old people who had come here to find peace, all of them gone. When it was over, looked at the burning world and smiled. Let the humans remember this, he said to his officers. Let them remember what happens to species who think they can stand among the elders. We do not share the galaxy with insects. His fleet jumped away, leaving only smoke and silence behind. The news reached Earth within 1 day. It spread across every screen, every device, every communication channel. 3,000 dead, a farming colony destroyed. No warning, no reason, just death. The world watched the footage from Nu's final moments. They saw the ships filling the sky. They heard Administrator's last message. They saw the fires. Then something strange happened, something that had not happened in a very long time. Earth went quiet. At the Galactic Assembly, Ambassador received the news during a meeting with Elder Prime. The old's many eyes were full of shame. I did not order this, Prime said. My nephew acted alone. I am sorry. We will pay compensation. We will punish him. Please tell your government that this was a mistake. Said nothing. He just stared at the report in his hands. 3,000 names, 3,000 stories, all ended. Stood behind him. Tears ran down her face, but her jaw was tight with anger. Ambassador, Prime continued, what will your people do? Finally looked up. His kind eyes had changed. There was something cold in them now, something very old and very patient. "I do not know," he said quietly, "but I think you should be afraid." He turned and walked away. He did not say goodbye. He did not make threats. He simply left. Prime watched him go and felt a chill run through his ancient body. He had seen species react to tragedy before. They cried. They begged for justice. They made angry speeches. Humans did none of these things. They just went quiet. On Earth, factories that made farming equipment stopped their machines. Workers went home. Then they came back the next day and started making something else. Nobody talked about what they were making. Nobody asked questions. Universities closed their doors. Students disappeared into government buildings. Scientists stopped publishing papers. The whole planet seemed to hold its breath. In space, human trading ships returned to Earth. Human diplomatic missions packed their bags and left every alien station. Within 1 week, there was not a single human in assembly space. Heard about this and laughed. "They are running away, they are cowards, I told you they were weak." But Elder Ka did not laugh. She went to the ancient library and read the warning again. Then she read the note that her ancestor had written below it. "They do not fight for land, they do not fight for money. When they fight until their enemy no longer exists, not defeated, not conquered, erased from history." Ka closed the book and looked out at the stars. Somewhere out there, humanity was preparing. She did not know what they were building. She did not know what they were planning. But she knew, with terrible certainty, that the galaxy was about to learn why her ancestor had been so afraid. The silence stretched on for 1 month, then 2, then 3. And still Earth did not speak. 6 months passed after the attack on Nu. The Galactic Assembly slowly forgot their fear. Life returned to normal. Trade continued. Meetings happened. The elder species talked about humans less and less. Became a hero among the young warriors praised his bravery. They said he had shown the galaxy that they were still strong. Some elders were unhappy, but most stayed silent. What was done was done. Elder Prime tried to send messages to Earth. He wanted to apologize again. He wanted to offer peace. But Earth did not answer. Not one word in 6 months. It was like humanity had disappeared. Some assembly members thought humans had given up. They were too weak to fight back. They had returned to their small corner of the galaxy to hide. This made sense to most species. What else could humans do? They had no real fleet. Their technology was primitive. They had thousands of warships. Humans had maybe 50. But Khan knew better. She watched the empty space where human ships used to fly. She felt something coming, something big, something terrible. "They are not hiding," she told the Assembly Council. "They are preparing." "Preparing for what?" laughed. "They cannot even build a proper warship. I have seen their fleet. My smallest destroyer could beat their best battleship." "You saw their fleet 6 months ago," Ka replied. "You do not know what they have now." "Nothing," said confidently. "It takes decades to build a real military. They do not have the factories. They do not have the knowledge. They are nothing." Ka did not argue, but she began moving her people away from the border with human space, just in case. On a dark moon far from any alien eyes, Lieutenant Commander stood on the bridge of her ship. The ship was called Remembrance. It was the first of its kind, and it was not alone. Behind her, stretching across the black sky, were 299 more ships just like it. 300 warships built in 6 months. It should have been impossible. Every shipyard on Earth said it could not be done. Every engineer said there was not enough time. They did it anyway. Humans did not sleep much during those 6 months. They did not take vacations. They did not complain. Every factory worked day and night. Every scientist gave everything they had. Old weapons were improved. New weapons were invented. Things that the elder races thought would take centuries to develop were created in weeks. Because humans were not working for money or glory. They were working for something else. Revenge was 29 years old. She had black hair cut short and eyes that had forgotten how to be soft. Her grandmother had lived on Nu. She had been a teacher there. She taught children to read and write and dream of the stars. Now she was ash scattered across a burned field. "All ships report ready," said her tactical officer. He was a big man with a quiet voice. His brother had also died on Nu. "Open Fleet Channel," ordered. Her face appeared on every screen across the human armada. 300 ships, 50,000 sailors, all of them waiting. "6 months ago they killed our families. They burned our homes. They thought we would cry. They thought we would beg for mercy." Her voice was calm, cold. They were wrong. She looked into the camera. Somewhere out there her crew was listening. People who had lost parents, children, friends. People who had spent 6 months building weapons instead of sleeping. People who were ready. "Today we teach the galaxy what happens when you touch our people. We do not forgive. We do not forget. And we do not stop until the job is done." She paused. "All ships prepare to jump. Target, Border Station 7. The fleet vanished into faster-than-light travel. 7 was the largest military station on the border. It had 12,000 soldiers, 200 warships, defense systems that could stop any attack. The sensors detected the human fleet 3 seconds before it arrived. 3 seconds was not enough time to do anything. Ships came out of faster-than-light travel already firing. New weapons that they had never seen tore through shields like they were made of paper. Human ships moved together perfectly, each one knowing exactly where the others would be. They had practiced this for months. Every move, every shot, every second. The battle lasted 11 minutes. When it was over, there was nothing left of 7. No station, no ships, no survivors, just floating metal and silence. Received the news on his flagship. His many eyes went wide with shock. "That is impossible," he said. "The station had 200 ships. The humans only have 50. "They have 300 now, Commander," his intelligence officer said. Her voice was shaking. "And their weapons. We do not understand their weapons. They should not exist." "How did they build 300 ships in 6 months?" The officer had no answer. Looked at the tactical display. The human fleet was not stopping. It was already moving toward the next target, then the next, then the next. They were coming for everything. And they were coming fast. The human advance was slow and careful and completely without mercy. Did not rush. She did not make mistakes. She moved her fleet from target to target like a surgeon cutting out a disease. First went the border stations, then the weapon factories, then the shipyards, then the military bases on a dozen worlds. Every place where the built things that could hurt people was turned to dust. But was careful about one thing: she never touched civilians. Human ships would scan a target before attacking. If there were families there, children, old people who had nothing to do with war, the humans would wait. They would warn them. They would give them time to leave. Then they would destroy everything else. They could not understand this. In their history, war meant destroying everything. Kill the soldiers, then kill their families, then burn their cities. That was how they had conquered 100 worlds long ago. Humans were different. They only killed warriors. They only destroyed weapons. It was strange. It was terrifying. Because it meant they were not fighting from anger. They were fighting from something colder, something more patient. Elder Prime begged the assembly for help. "They will destroy us," he said to the council. "We must stop them. Send your fleets. Fight with us." Ka shook her crystal head. "You were warned. Every species in this room was warned. Your nephew broke the law. Now you face the result." "But they are killing our soldiers, destroying our fleet." "Yes," Ka replied. "They are. And they have not touched a single civilian. They have not bombed a single city. They are giving you more mercy than you gave them." She paused. "Be grateful for that." Prime had nothing to say. The war lasted 3 months. By the end, the Dominion had no military left. Every warship was gone. Every weapon factory was rubble. Every base was empty. His flagship was the last one standing. He had tried to run. He had tried to hide. But the humans always found him. They tracked him across a dozen star systems. They followed him through asteroid fields and nebulas and the dark spaces between galaxies. They never stopped. Finally, surrounded by human ships with no weapons left, surrendered. Met him on a neutral station. The assembly had arranged the meeting. Ka was there to watch. So was Ambassador, who had come back from Earth for this moment. Walked into the room with his ceremonial blade in his hands. It was an old tradition. A defeated commander offers his blade to the victor. It was supposed to mean honor, respect between warriors. He knelt before and held out the blade. She looked down at him. Her face showed nothing. No anger, no happiness, nothing at all. Why? Asked. His voice was broken. We destroyed one colony, 3,000 people. You have destroyed our entire military, our economy, our place in the galaxy. We will need 100 years to recover. Why did you do this? Took his blade. She looked at it for a long moment. Then she handed it to who stood behind her. You do not understand, she said quietly. That is the problem. You do not understand us at all. Then explain it to me. Knelt down so she could look into his many eyes. You thought 3,000 was a small number. You thought we would calculate 3,000 dead against the cost of war. You thought we would decide it was not worth fighting, that we would accept some money, some apology, and move on. She shook her head slowly. You were wrong. But it makes no sense. 3,000 deaths against millions of soldiers, against your entire economy focused on war for 6 months. The math does not work. We do not do math with our people, said. Every one of those 3,000 had a name, a face, a story. My grandmother was one of them. She taught children. She made them laugh. She baked bread every Sunday. Her voice did not shake. Her eyes did not water. She was past tears. I remember her face. I will remember it forever. And because of you, I will never see her again. She stood up. So I came here. I destroyed everything you had. And I will spend the rest of my life making sure no one ever forgets what happens when you kill our people. Looked up at her. He had fought wars across the galaxy. He had killed thousands. He had never felt fear before. He felt it now. Because was not angry, she was not crazy. She was perfectly calm, and that calm was worse than any rage. What happens now? He asked. Now you live, replied. You live with what you did. You live knowing that your people suffered because of your pride, and you live knowing that we could have destroyed everything. Your cities, your families, your entire species. She leaned close. We chose not to, remember that. When you think about humans, remember that we had the power to end you and we chose mercy. She turned and walked away. Stayed on his knees for a long time. Around him, the elder species watched in silence. They had seen many things in 12,000 years. They had never seen anything like this. Humanity had won the war, but more than that, they had proven something. They could be terrible, they could be merciful, they could choose. And that choice made them more frightening than any weapon. 1 year after the burning of Nu, the Galactic Assembly held a special ceremony. Every elder species sent their leaders. Thousands of delegates filled the great hall of station. They had come to witness something that had never happened before. Humanity was being admitted as a full member of the assembly. Not as a junior species, not as a student who needed to learn from the elders, as an equal, with full voting rights and full respect. Ambassador walked into the great hall with beside her. She was not his aide anymore. She had been promoted to full ambassador. Together, they represented all 8 billion humans across Earth and its colonies. The elder species watched them approach. Some felt fear, some felt respect. All of them felt something that they had not felt in thousands of years. Uncertainty. Elder Ka spoke first. Humanity, you have shown the galaxy your strength. You have also shown restraint. You fought with power but chose mercy when victory was complete. The Assembly recognizes you as equals among the stars. The hall filled with applause. Some of it was genuine. Some of it was careful. Everyone remembered what had happened to the bowed politely. We are honored. We came to the stars hopping to find friends. We still hope for that. But we also learned an important lesson this year. What lesson? Ka asked. That friendship must be earned, and that we must be strong enough to protect what we love. He looked around the room. We want peace. We will always choose peace first, but if peace is taken from us, we will take it back, no matter the cost. The hall was very quiet. After the ceremony, Ka approached privately. Her crystal body glowed softly in the dim light. I must ask you something, she said. It has bothered me for a long time. Please ask. Your species nearly destroyed itself many times before reaching space. Wars over everything. Land, religion, ideas. You almost ended your own civilization a dozen times. She tilted her crystal head. How did you survive? How did you make it far enough to reach us? Smiled. It was a warm smile, but there was something sad in it too. Because every time we stood at the edge of destruction, someone chose to step back. Someone chose peace instead of war. Someone decided that tomorrow was worth more than revenge. He paused. We are capable of terrible things, Elder. You saw that. But we are also capable of choosing not to do those terrible things. That is what makes us dangerous. I do not understand. Other species might be more powerful, more advanced, more ancient, but they follow their nature. If they are warriors, they fight. If they are peaceful, they submit. Shook his head. Humans choose every time. We can be the kindest friends or the worst enemies, and we decide which one to be. Ka was silent for a long moment. Then she nodded slowly. I think I understand now why my ancestor was afraid. She was wise. Yes, she was. Ka looked at him carefully. Will there be peace now, true peace? Gestured toward the observation window. Outside, human and diplomats were sharing a meal together. They were not friends yet. Maybe they never would be, but they were talking, learning, trying. There will be peace as long as everyone remembers the lesson. Touch our people and we respond, not with proportional force, not with careful calculation, with everything we have until the threat is gone. He turned back to Ka. Remember that and we will be the best friends the galaxy has ever known. Forget it and well, you saw what happened. That night Ka went to the ancient library. She removed the old warning about humanity. It was no longer needed. The galaxy had learned its lesson. She wrote a new entry instead. Humanity has awakened. They are not our enemies. They can be our greatest allies, but never make them choose to be otherwise. They fight not for land or power, but for love of their own people. Their memory is long. Their patience is longer. And when they commit to something, they do not stop. Ever. She closed the book and looked out at the stars. Somewhere out there, human ships flew alongside traders. Human doctors healed sick children on distant worlds. Human scientists worked with alien researchers to unlock the secrets of the universe. Humanity had found its place among the stars. On a rebuilt world called New, 3,000 memorial stones stood in a garden. The wheat had been replanted. It grew tall and golden again, swaying in the alien wind. Admiral visited once a year. She was famous now. A hero, but she did not feel like a hero. She felt tired. She felt old even though she was only 30. She walked among the stones until she found her grandmother's name. Then she sat down in the grass and opened a bottle of soju. She poured 2 cups, one for herself, one for the stone. We did it, grandmother, she said quietly. No one will ever hurt this place again. I made sure of it. The wind blew through the wheat. It sounded almost like a voice, almost like a thank you. Stayed until sunset. The sky turned orange and purple, colors that no human had seen before they left Earth. It was beautiful. Her grandmother would have loved it. "Rest now," whispered, "all of you rest." She stood up and walked back to her ship. Tomorrow there would be more work, more meetings, more careful diplomacy. The galaxy was changing and humanity was changing with it. But tonight she would remember. Tonight she would honor the dead. And tomorrow she would keep building a future worthy of their sacrifice. The stars shone down on New. 3,000 names carved in stone. 3,000 stories that ended too soon. 3,000 reasons why humanity would never forget. And never forgive. And never let it happen again.